Hi everyone, welcome back to Easy English with Accenta. How are you all doing today? I hope all of you are doing very well. In the last video, we discussed the importance of listening, and I told you to work on improving your listening comprehension so that you can be better communicators of English. And in today's video, we're going to look at a simple method which can be applied in your communication as to sound a little more natural in the way you communicate in English. When we listen to a native speaker or watch a film or a series, we often come across structures and situations where we don't understand the native speaker. Maybe you think that they are fast in communication or they do use certain structures we don't understand, but it's not that. So in this video, we're going to look at a simple strategy that you can apply in your conversation every day to sound like a native speaker of English. This is not going to take much of your time, not much of an effort, just a simple trick. And let's move on to the video. So let's have a look at the strategy that can be applied in our conversation. As I told you at the beginning, we're going to sound more natural or like a native speaker of English. The trick is called contractions. Well, what do we mean by contractions? Let's take some auxiliary verbs for examples. Have or has. When it comes to a sentence, we often don't use the word as such. Well, you're going to understand it better when I give you an example. Let's look at the nationality of a person. Imagine we have a friend and I'm going to ask him about his nationality and he's going to tell me, I am British. Please listen, I am British. Well, this has been the way in which we've been reading or communicating in English so far. I mean, what's wrong in saying I am British? But to sound more natural or like a native speaker, you need to apply the theory of contraction here, and it's going to sound like this. I'm British. See? I am British has become I'm British. Well, that's the way they communicate with each other in natural situations. Or in a film, when you watch a program on television where there is natural communication happening among the native speakers, they sound, I'm British, I'm British. See, that's very simple, I'm British. Or they might even say, I'm Brit, because it's again shorter. So now let's practice the first structure. I'm British. Not I am, it's Moving on to another example, I'm going to apply this with another nationality, Chinese. I am Chinese. No, it should be I'm Chinese. I'm Chinese. All right, so practice it aloud yourself. And let's move on to the next structure. So we are done with the first two structures, and let's move on to the third one. That's also similar in nature. We're going to speak about nationality, but instead of the pronoun I, we're going to use the pronoun they. So that means there are more number of people, and we're going to speak about their place, that's Italy. And we're going to speak about their nationality. They are Italians. How do we say? They are Italians. Well, let's apply the theory of contraction here. They're Italians. They're Italians. It might sound like they're, but that's okay. That's the way you sound when you communicate with a native speaker. They're Italians. They're Italians. See, they are is not there anymore. Instead, it's they're Italians. They're Italians. All right? Let's move on to the next structure. The next situation is there is someone at the door and we say, there is a man at the door. There is a man at the door. Well, let's go to the first part and apply contraction there. There's a man at the door. There's a man at the door. There's a man. See, there's. Try to repeat it yourself. There's a man at the door. And now when you watch a film, I'm sure that you will definitely come across something like this. If you are someone who watches series or films, the next time you watch it, pay attention to these kind of structures. Okay? There's a man at the door. Where is the button? Where is the button? Now, when we write, it's independent words that we have. Where is the button? But when we speak, it's going to be where's the button? Where's the button? Where's? Just saying where's. Where's the button? Where's the button? Where's the button? So that's it. So, not where is, but where's the button? And a very common question What is he doing? Okay, what is he doing? Before looking at the contraction here, look at the word itself. It's not what, it's what. Okay, so what is he doing? Okay, it's not doing as such, it's doing. All right, so let's look at the way a native speaker uses the same. What's he doing? What's he doing? See, what's. Not what is, it's what's he doing? What's he doing? What's he doing? Now, when it comes to contractions, repetition is very important. You need to practice it yourself over and over again. I would recommend you to go in front of a mirror and talk to yourself. Or when you watch an English program, you come across a similar structure, I would request you to pause there and repeat it yourself. That's the only way to fine-tune yourself to very good English. So repetition, and of course, listening at the beginning of it. So I listen, repeat, and repeating it aloud is also equally important because that's where you are going to tune your tongue to English. So stand in front of a mirror and practice it yourself. What's he doing? What's he doing? All right, let's move on to the next structure. Who is that? Who is that? We don't know the person and we're asking someone, who is that? Well, what do you try to yourself? How are you saying? Who is that becomes, who's that? Who's that? Well, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Say that over and over again. Who's that? Now we're going to look at a statement. She is going to the beach. She is going to the beach. Well, let's make it better. She's going to the beach. She's, do you see that? She's going to the beach. 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 Listen, it's not about the speed, but it's about the accuracy. It's about the sounds, in fact. If you increase your speed, that doesn't make you a competent native speaker, but accuracy does. So please work on that. She's going to the beach. She's going to the beach. Let's look at the next structure. We are going to eat now. We are going to eat now. How do we say that? We're going to eat now. We are going to eat now. We're going. See, not we are, it's we are. We are going to eat now. We're going to eat now. We're going to eat now. Try it yourself. We're going to eat now. They are not ready yet. They are not ready yet. We'll say that together. They're not ready yet. They are. They are. So we've already practiced this. They are. Okay? So they're not ready yet. They're not ready yet. They're not ready yet. Again, I speak to you about the importance of practice. Do it regularly. Now we're going to look at a structure which we've not practiced so far. I will be back in a minute. Well, it's a very common structure in native conversations. I will be back in a minute. That means I'll come back in 1 minute, okay? Or I'll come back very soon. Well, let's try to apply contraction here. I'll be back in a minute. I'll be back in a minute. I'll. See, not I will, it's I'll be back in a minute. I'll be back in a minute, right? Repeat after me. I'll be back in a minute. Let's have a look at the next structure. There will be lots of food. There will be lots of food, okay? It can either be there will be lots of food or there will be a lot of food. Well, it's your choice. Now, let's look at the first one. There will be lots of food. Listen, it's not food, it's food. It's about pronunciation. And I'll talk to you about pronunciation in one of our videos in future. Let's come back. There will be lots of food. Okay? So we're going to make it shorter. There'll be lots of food. There'll be lots of food. There'll be lots of food. There will be lots of food. There will be becomes there'll be. Okay? There will be lots of food becomes there'll be lots of food. Let's move on. I have seen that movie already. I have seen that movie already. Well, how do we say that? I've. See, it's not I have, I've seen the movie already. I've seen the movie already. You're saying, I've seen. See, in a single sound, we're going to get the whole thing. I've seen. Not I have seen, I've seen, okay? I've seen the movie already. I've seen the movie already. She has finished her homework. She has finished her homework. Let's look at the contraction. She has finished becomes she's finished her homework. She's finished her homework. She's finished her homework. They're saying she's finished her homework. The next structure is I had. I had played the game before. I had played the game before. And it becomes I'd played the game before. 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 I'm saying it 3 or 4 times for you to practice, okay? Or to repeat after me. I'd played the game before. We would be glad to help. We would be glad to help. Let's make it better. We'd be glad to help. We'd be glad to help. We'd be glad to help. We would becomes we'd. Okay? We'd be glad to help. All right. So practice it. We'd be glad to help. And we are moving on to the last expression in today's video. And the expression is here. They would like to go now. They would like to go now. They'd like to go now. They'd like to go now. They'd like to go now. Repeat after me. They'd like to go now. In our video today, we looked at several structures where the theory of contraction is applied. And today, I would request all of you to watch a film in English for about 20 to 30 minutes. It is available either on HBO or AXN or Star Movies, any channel that you wish to watch. But when you watch it, pay attention to a minimum of 10 contractions that they use in their conversations. They don't have to be from the discussion that we had in the video today. There are a lot more. So, we'll have a video in future which will discuss the same in detail, wherein we'll have a few other contractions as well coming into picture. But it's your call to listen, repeat, and make your language better. As I told you in the previous video, keep working on your language. Keep writing, keep listening, keep practicing English with your family and friends, and better your communication skills in English language. I'll see you with another video very soon. Until then, you take care. I wish you all a good day.